Hi everyone, this is the video for the challenge problem. Um, some of this is contrary to what we have been doing so far. So please, if you get confused, let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. Basically, it starts off like the mastery problem. We're given partial information, and then we are given a whole bunch of excess information that we need to use to help get everything up to date. So the first thing we have to do is we're going to have account titles. We need to add more accounts. So the first thing we're going to do, since we have advertising supplies expense, and the textbook tells us that only a fourth of them are going to be used this summer, the rest are going to be used later, we are going to have prepaid advertising supplies. So, because we're going to have to adjust for the amount that she has not used as of yet. She has, new kayak and paddles. So we're going to have an account with kayak and paddles, but we also need to have accumulated depreciation for those kayak and paddles. And since we have accumulated depreciation, we need to have depreciation expense for those kayak and paddles. So that takes care of part of getting the trial balance up to date. Now we're going to have to start on the adjustments. So if you look at brochures, we're $1,000, but she only plans to use a fourth of them. So we need to figure out how much she has actually used this period. And this is where it's going to be different than normal, since we do not have an amount listed in the trial balance. So we're going to take $1,000, multiply it by 3/4 or 0.75. That gives us $750. And so that is actually going to be a credit in the expense instead of a debit. And so we're actually going to list that, wrong account, as a credit, as a debit in prepaid advertising and expenses. So that way going forward, we know she has that much inventory of advertising equipment in stock. Next is kayak and paddles. She didn't put how much, how much she had in kayak and paddles at the beginning of the summer. So we're going to have to do the same thing. So the new kayak and paddles at the beginning of the summer, up to this time, she's always borrowed her father's. She expects to use the equipment for about 5 years, and there is no salvage value. And that was $3,500. And so we're going to have to enter that as a debit in kayak and paddles, that since she does not have that up to date. And then she does, trying to see if it says how she purchased it. Equipment, travel expenses. Let's see. Cash receipts from kayakers, cash balance, amount taken from savings. So she used her savings account to pay for the $3,500, which is why her cash balance is $11,500. But we need to figure out where are we going to put the extra $3,500. And in this case, because we really are not going to use kayak expense, and it shows that kayak expense was $3,500, we're actually going to credit that account because we need to get that to a zero because it's not an expense. She purchased an asset instead. Part of your job on this problem is to correct entries, so correct the mistakes that she's made, but also make sure everything is adjusted properly. So it's going to be a little tricky. So now we need to figure out depreciation. How much did the kayaks depreciate? In this, we're using, she's going by summers, so it has 5 years. So we're going to take our $3,500, divide it by 5 years. So that's giving us a depreciation of $700. See if there's anything else that we have missed. So we have brochures, food and trips. There is nothing left of the food expense. So that is going to be adjusted for $2,000. That way we can get at a zero balance. And if we're doing food expense, we should have an account that it will be debited to. And I am not seeing one. Travel expenses, $4,000. So let's take that out for now. Okay, so really, rent equipment. Let's see. So far it looks good. Let's make sure our totals balance first in the trial balance. We should have 25,000. So again, I'm just going to have Excel do the math. Oops. Okay, so far, so good. I can tell that these balance, but we may still be off. So let's add those up. Okay, so let's add those up and see what we get. Okay, so far so good. Now we would have to complete the columns like you would normally. So the rest is the adjusted trial balance, the income statement, and the balance sheet. So those are going to be just like you would typically do. And then the second part of the problem. Diane believes that she lost money. She thinks that she's been doing fine, but has never really measured her profits. She's always had more money at the end of the summer than the beginning. She had to dip into her savings to make up for the losses that she thought. So she thought she had lost $3,500 since she had to take it from her savings account. Basically, once you have completed part one, what is your understanding of her financial situation for her business? Did she lose money? Did she make money? How much? Where could she have done better? So I'm looking for that type of information for part two. If you have any questions on it, let me know.